Hello, friends. So, today I have a special poem that I'm going to be reading for you guys, and it's called Spirit. Show you the page. It has the dog print, so that's the hint for the reader. But this poem is fairly short, like many of my poems. So I'm going to do a quick read aloud, and then I'll do a breakdown of let's say 3 sections, I think. So here we go. Humans have attempted to understand my thoughts, as if you could. Racing in the rain, an art that shows your destiny more than your version of my story ever would. My mind marked on a whole other plane, like a planet, pushed into another cosmic perspective amongst the sane. You have your world, and I have mine, where I can hear my heart and trees breathing at the same time. I have lost and I have loved, and I find myself bonded to the pack, defending the keep if push comes to shove, my voice rattling in my throat. But unlike you, I'll never hold back. Okay, so this poem is told from the perspective of a dog. And one of the things that I really wanted to encapsulate is not just, oh, how does the world look in the perspective if you were like looking behind the eyes of, like, for example, say a Dalmatian or a wolf, right? This was more like the mind. How is the mind functioning? Um, and so I go into that right away. And for those of you who may not know, there's a book that's called The Art of Racing in the Rain, which is told from the perspective of a dog. And so I'm kind of calling upon that here. I'm not trying to dog on that writer. It's, you know, he's really good at creating a personal narrative. But so it's more as to say that we as humans, we try to articulate. I'm trying to articulate what this might be and how amazingly wonderful and how on a other plane, right? I go into that like my mind is marked on a whole other plane, like a planet. But that's just it. Like, this is uncharted territory. Like, to a certain degree, we have a restricted understanding, if I may go as so far as to say. But the cool thing that I love about this next section, it calls a complimentary, I want to say, like look at how great dogs are, because I am biased to dogs. But you get this section where I am kind of talking about them in a very highlighted fashion, saying you have your world and I have mine, like where I can hear my heart and trees breathing at the same time, and I love that rhyme. So there is that piece as well, um, where I try to draw on to, potentially what that physically may be, um, like. And then I move on to how maybe they are similar, I guess I would say, thinking through this. But I have lost and I have loved, right? I feel like as dogs that are domesticated, they have those experiences, right? Where, like, for example, say uh, young children, they grow up and they move out of the house and the dog doesn't know why, stuff like that. Um, and then there's kind of like saying like so much today, but there is kind of like this final paradoxical phrase. My voice rattles in my throat, but unlike you, I never hold back. And that was definitely a purposeful thing for me, is that I feel, you know, as humans, we have that divide where we have the big brain, like the thinkers, right? But there's something to be said about the, not necessarily animalistic instinct, but that the most ferocious thing can be like the female dog protecting her babies, right? So, uh, so this was written in contribution to one of my dogs that recently passed away, and it was good to write this and kind of have like a tribute to her. So that's basically it. And if I were to maybe do this as an assignment, just to kind of do like a follow-up thing for the video modeling portion, I might have kids explore like, have you ever had a pet? Would you like to own a pet? Or have you lost a pet? And it'd be interesting to see how kids might form a poem or a personal narrative story, a short one, right? Where you get a snapshot of how that it's like to be in the body, the mind, and the soul, basically, right? Spirit, henceforth the name, of an animal or a pet, right? Because we have ideas like we try to put on paper, like in the art of racing in the rain, but ultimately, you know, we can only try to articulate so much of it because there's a part of it like that we just don't, we will not know. But the cool thing is that they'll never hold back. Like they'll always be there for you. So this was a very much a tribute poem piece. So